Now I've got one that's close to my heart. This is a Ryerson Democracy Forum, and I'm just going to go to audience questions after this. So Melissa, you can queue them up if you're ready. But this is important for me because I'm passionate about democracy. It's not a trick question, but it's a serious question. A lot of people complain about, proportional representation or ranked ballots, which I might like, but that's not going to happen. But there is one thing that you have the power to fix right away, and we know that because we fixed it before in this province. A few years ago, under the last Liberal government, it was the Wild West in terms of fundraising. Corporate contributions, union contributions, it was a mess. And there was a lot of dirty money as well. And so all the parties, including your party under your predecessor, agreed to change things, to ban those company contributions and to allow for public support of each party based on how they did in the last election. Some people call it per vote subsidies. I think you called it that. But we know, and you and I both know that there are already giant subsidies for the big fat cat donors who get as much as 75% back in a tax credit. Whereas other folks who are hurting in this pandemic don't have the money to donate now. And your party and the other parties, Liberals, New Democrats, are hitting people up for money in this pandemic, using the pandemic. This is a rough time to raise money. Why don't you go back to where we were and return public support for each party, $2 per voter to go to each party, fair and square, all parties support it. Isn't it time to bring that back?
Well, Martin, really good question. You make a really good, valid point. I just don't believe that everyone should be forced to pay if they don't support a certain political party or any political parties. They might not even vote, which is disappointing. I encourage them to vote. So really, it was a mandatory $2, if you want to call it, subsidy to each of the parties. And right now, we kind of took the federal rules. I think it's $1,600 you can donate, and really, it gives the people the option. So if you don't, and you do get a tax credit, you're right. If you don't want to contribute, then you aren't going to be taxed. And that's kind of the approach I took. And sometimes it benefits parties, sometimes it doesn't benefit parties, but at least it gives the option and the freedom of people. You can either donate $10, you can donate up to $1,600. But most importantly, no one can influence Doug Ford, no matter what the amount is. And in saying that, I truly believe that with other parties too. I truly believe no one can influence the NDP, the Liberals, the Green, or the PCs. And for $1,600, that's not much for personal donations. We don't allow any companies, any unions, any of the big donors. So that's kind of the approach I took.
All right, to be continued in future columns, stand by. I'm going to keep at this because I think it's a mistake, with all due respect, but I've heard you out and other people have had a chance to hear you. So maybe you'll give this some thought, because I got to say, it's not about choosing. Sometimes you just can't afford it. So it's not coming out of your pocket, it's coming out of the Treasury, and it's a way to level the playing field.